What up, everybody? Welcome back to Pirate King Investments, aka Ninetales Corner. Today we are talking about the thing that I started off this whole channel doing, which is recording whether Pokemon investments are worth it or not. And this is a year in with that portfolio that I made of $100,000 real stuff that I put in. I think it was at that point like just shy of 100,000, but it was around. So I rounded up to $100,000 in the collectors app. So pretty much, we're going to be going through the stuff. I'm going to be commenting. If you want to see the exact prices that they were before, you could check that in the other video, the first one. And now we're going to be going through them now, how much everything's gone up in price. And obviously some things will be obvious winners. Some things might have stagnated, relatively speaking, right? Because it's a portfolio of a bunch of different things. But we'll also be able to go back and look at what actually was for this last year, the best investment. That doesn't mean that these things will 100% always be the best investment, but it'll be interesting to see what kind of products did well versus others, right? What kind of sets did well, how old was the era, and everything like that. So I'm excited for this. Now, we won't necessarily answer the question. 1 year can't answer you the question, what will be worth it, or is it worth it? Because keep in mind, it could have been down, doesn't mean Pokemon's not worth it. This was, spoiler alert, up, so it doesn't mean Pokemon is 100% worth it always. Like if I sold out right now, I'd definitely be in the profits. But let's say if we're thinking as a long-term investment, which is the only thing I'm really interested in, because why hold cash? We're going to have to wait more, but this is an update. So from 1 year, you can't decide anything. You could be lucky. You could have timed it right. You can't decide anything from 1 year of data, 100%. But I will give you guys what happened with my $100,000, and then we'll keep following it. But definitely off to a good start, I would say. We're going to reveal the final number near the end of the video to keep things interesting. And like last time, if you saw that first video, we're going to go through least expensive to most expensive. And yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happened. But anyways, if you like Pokemon Investing Talk, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. And some people might say that even if these investments grow, an issue is that it's hard to sell. Well, I'm going to be covering that as well on the channel, and specifically during my first show, I'll be posting on Instagram. So at Ninetales Corner, follow there on Instagram if you want to see what I'm buying and selling for my first ever show, which is this week. All right, so let's hop right into it, going from least expensive to most expensive. And we got all sorts of stuff here, so we will really be able to see what did well, what didn't, even single cards and everything. So everything's over $1 now. I think it probably was back then, but Shenpao might have been even more expensive then. And just keep in mind, some of these random cards weren't quote-unquote investments. I put them in because I drew them in packs, some of them, right? I'll point out the more expensive ones, are obviously investments, but I just put them in because, who knows, maybe a card will surprise you. This one probably went down, if anything, because I think it was pretty playable back in the day. So we have Wigglytuff, Zapdos, Venusaur, so some 151 normal EXs. I think even those have a pretty nice future. Jinx EX, Kangaskhan EX, Ninetales EX. Keep in mind, guys, 151 is relatively new. So I think, 5 years down the line, even these cards, just like normal tag team cards, could end up being expensive now. I think these do have room to grow, but obviously they're not the most exciting stuff. So you have a bunch of 151 interesting. Yeah, 151 Blastoise, 151 Alakazam. Obviously, a rule of thumb is the more popular a Pokemon, probably the more expensive the regular card is going to be. Shout out to Ninetales right there, $1.36. Another thing, you guys will see CAD here, so that's Canadian dollars, right? So 100,000 Canadian dollars, and then we'll see what the total is. But keep in mind, it doesn't matter if it's USD or Canadian, it'll be the same percentage return. So that's what we're really interested in, not necessarily if it's Canadian or USD. Got a random Legacy Energy. You can bet I drew that. Galarian Berserker, drew that. So let's skip some of this. Raikou definitely had better days. I wonder if he was playable, but it's pretty old, Brilliant Stars, but this has definitely been higher than 192. Let's even see if we could do the 6-month chart. I can't do more than 6-month chart. But yeah, it was $6 6 months ago. So I'm guessing it's a playability thing, but not sure why the Raikou fell there. And then we start getting into some Galarian Gallery. So I get excited about this stuff. Obviously, Comfey, I don't even know that Pokemon, but you're starting to see hit the $2 mark. This Spiritomb is an amazing artwork. And Spiritomb, I feel like, is not unpopular. Like, it's not popular, but I feel like Spiritomb, with Cynthia Spiritomb and everything, this card, I wouldn't be surprised if it does better down the line. Then we have Abomasnow from Paldean Face, just a normal card I drew from a pack, $2.35. Chandelure, right? I expect to see a lot of these Spiritomb, Chandelure, like, to start now that Sword and Shield is getting older, gaining value, especially with the really cool artworks. We got Luxray Full Art, right? Full Art's not holding great value, but Pidgeot V, $2.78. Incineroar, $3, not bad. Worker, $3. Altaria EX, $3.42. Caesar, I love Caesar. So here we have $3.78. Palafin, an illustration rare from Obsidian Flames. They're easier to hit, but it's $3.78. So I do have one of these because I drew it. Not crazy about it, but again, illustration rares that are $3.78 Canadian probably don't have a lot of room to fall at that point. Normal Pikachu EX from Paldea Evolved, $3.78. Smeargle for a long time was like $1, I believe, or less. Let's check that out. Yeah, $1.20 and started going up recently. So, like, see, some of these cards could be like 4xing. Obviously, it's not big dollar amounts, but it's interesting. And it is a cool artwork, like, as an artist and everything. So we'll keep going. This Arcanine, for the longest time, I was like, it's undervalued. I think in the last video, it was like $1. See, $1.67. Finally over $4. Again, percentage-wise, that's huge vindication for my opinion. But keep in mind, this is not only an Arcanine, even though it's a variant of it. It's so nostalgic for those of us who played the Legends Arceus games, or Arceus again. Someone tell me how it's pronounced in the chat, in the comments. But the Legends Arceus game was iconic. It was something new. Everyone's nostalgic for it after ZA came out and thinks that ZA dropped the ball when Legends Arceus did such a good job. So that being the first ever game in that style and already being recognized as sort of a fan favorite, I think this card will be especially nostalgic for a lot of people. So yeah, I'm not surprised to see this one pretty much 4xing. We got Paris, Poochyena. You see that these artworks are connected, and these guys were also cheap. This guy's like, I didn't even put in a top loader when I drew because I was thinking like, they're too cheap too. And yeah, now it's over $4. So I would, at $4, I would put it on top loader. Ice Rider Calyrex, this one was also lagging for a long time, but looks like it's over the $4 mark now. Lairon, Larvitar, these little ones have definitely grown too. I feel like Larvitar. Yeah, a little bit for Larvitar as well. They're all gonna, I feel like the bottom is gonna grow, especially these guys are kind of connected to cool Pokemon, right? These two. Larvitar is the first form of Tyranitar, so I think there's definitely room to grow there. This Eevee VMAX, I actually got when I bought something. Someone sent it a sealed one free with my purchase. And I thought that was really cool because this is a really cool card. In Evolving Skies, we didn't have Eevee. And here you go. It's starting to get some of that love. Pretty much double in the last 6 months. And I would not be surprised to see this one grow a lot more. There's a lot of things going for it. Eevee is popular. Also, no Eevee VMAX in Evolving Skies, so this makes up for it. Also, Eevee is cute and little, and now we see it big. That there's a, I feel like there's a market for those kinds of twists in Pokemon cards. And then even cards that like trainers, that may not have been worth much before are holding some value. $5 for Arezu, $5 for the rainbow one as well. Eternatus Trainer Gallery, $5. Some of these guys like Enhanced Hammer drew that in the pack. Obviously, wasn't expecting it to go up. Probably should sell it now, or if it's playable, I don't know. Might have been more playable before. Those are the kinds of things you want to sell since you want to put that money into something you believe in, right? I don't think that has a big future. Enhanced Hammer. Cornerstone Mask, that's another one I drew. Tinkatink, same one, same story. Yeah, so keep going, just take in the stuff. You'll see that trainer galleries, over the course of the video, that trainer galleries, illustration rares have gone up, right? Like this Sandile was definitely not always 6. Okay, so cool, we can see 12 months here. Yeah, so it was $3 back then. So you have Melton, Rabska. Like, I don't even care about these guys, but they're holding some value. Again, I think there will just be people that want every illustration rare. I think that will bump up a lot of illustration rares. There will be master collectors of the set or of illustration rares in particular. Kangaskhan EX for a full art, holding some good price there. $6.50. Wigglytuff, $6.89. Again, the Legends Arceus nostalgia in Friends of Hisui. Not surprised at $6.50. Mabostiff, love that artwork. Love that card. So $7 for that one now. Jinx Golem. Jinx not at the bottom of it. That's good for Jinx. And then we got Avery from Chilling Reign, right? A lot of these cards, it'll be interesting to see how they just continue to subtly go up. Arbok EX, Toadscruel, $7.75. Wimpod, $8. See, like, I wouldn't pay $8 for a Wimpod, but someone would. Ditto, I definitely get. I definitely get why this is $8 now. Used to be $2, right? So almost 4x'd. So that's pretty cool. Like, this is a great card that I think is not a big hit, but I think is a 151 Pokemon, a very fun, unique artwork, and I expect to see it to continue to grow, and I'm not surprised it grew. Lechonk, this one probably just grew from cuteness. Yeah, it doubled, pretty much probably cuteness. Erica was, I don't know if you guys remember 151 just came out. Erica, the special illustration rare, was killing it. And then it's never recovered to those levels when it came out. Sandaconda VMAX Rainbow Rare. Like, this will just be a historical piece at some point. Not a popular Pokemon, but Rainbow Rare and VMAX and Sandaconda. Like, kind of glad I have that. I obviously pulled it. I didn't invest in it, but kind of glad I have that card. So Alakazam EX, Zapdos EX, right? 151, getting into some more popular Pokemon, full arts. Mr. Mime, I believe this is the lowest priced, so almost $10 Canadian. Illustration rare in 151. Let's just reflect. So this one in the last 12 months, let's see. So it's around maintained around the same level there for Mr. Mime. Keep in mind, guys, when I made the initial video, it was like November something. So it's been a bit over a year, so it won't be exactly in this chart reflected in everything. But I finally got around to making the video, so we're making do. This Radiant Charizard I drew, but I was happy with. I would invest in it too back in the day, and probably still would. But yeah, so it's definitely, I remember when it was like, $4 or $5. Now it's almost $11 there. Pretty cool. Pyroar, awesome looking Pokemon. Ninetales full art. There you go. Ninetales corner, $10.72. This card has been doing well recently, the Mew. By the way, this is a Japanese Master Ball Rhyhorn, $12. Japanese, still my worst investments were in Japanese stuff, which is why I don't recommend buying Japanese stuff to hold long term, because I don't think you can find a lot of cases where the English doesn't outperform. The only exception is if there is no English version of something, like the Poncho Pikachus, there is no English version of it, right? But sealed product, to me, English is king. So this Mew for the whole year still around the same spot, but lately it's been going up. $12.37. Grotle, Tinglu drew these in packs, but cool nonetheless. Eevee from Brilliant Stars. So that one was one that I made sure to get and complete the Jolteon, Flareon, and Vaporeon. So you can see that this one's been working its way up along with the others. The others are more expensive, so we'll run into them too. Finally, we're getting to some 151, right? 14, Caterpie. This I actually drew from Evolving Skies, which is kind of cool. Probably one of the least valuable cards in Evolving Skies, but I like Cresselia, and it's a gold card, and it's from Evolving Skies, so I think that's cool. Latias, let's see how that's been doing. Yep, more than doubled. Cool. Electrode from Chilling Reign. Gold card, $15. I believe that's gone up. Yeah, from $11. Nidoking, right, $15. I don't even know this one, Hisui and Sumarat. This is one I drew because there's a lot of Crown Zenith stuff here, because in general, you get a lot of hits there. So all the packs I opened ended up getting interesting stuff. This Lapras I've been liking for a long time. So was $5, so tripled from a year ago. Pretty cool. Sylveon VMAX, also got this from opening up Evolving Sky packs. So from $10, so 60% increase, let's say about there. Flareon, right? This is another one of the 4 that complete the collection. That's up $5. Gyarados V, right? Evolving Skies, like a lot of these cards. Again, I drew this, didn't invest, but it was $10. Now it's $16. A lot of these cards that people weren't focused on in the beginning, as Evolving Skies gets more rare, people start digging through it, and you'll start to see this wave just push everything up, even the usually less sought after cards. Machoke doing well, 17. Giovanni's Charisma, I still think this will do better long term. So this started out at 52, or not, probably not started out. This was probably a pump. No, definitely did not start out here, but this was a pump, and then it fell down again. But you can see we're pretty close to bottom levels. So yeah, I think Giovanni's Charisma, honestly, will grow in the long term. Frigibax, the story there is it's a Comia artwork. This one I drew in a pack, but because of the Comia artwork thing, will be interesting. It's already holding good value. The Vaporeon, $17, right? Like, crazy to see some of this growth. So at one point, it was $11.58. A year ago, it was also around that $17 mark. But yeah, these ones I definitely think have have a future, these trainer galleries with the yellow borders, which a lot of people didn't think when the stuff initially came out. So we have a normal Snorlax without the stamp on it. We have Venusaur full art. That's cool. So I'm guessing you can have every starter final stage evolution full art, which I didn't really think about before. But yeah, that's sick. So you could have the illustration rares or super special illustration rares plus the full arts to match. Very cool. Yeah, there's Blastoise. Oh, that's another way to get the big three, eh? That's cool. Snorlax, this one's been doing good. $4, guys, like $4.87. So yeah, definitely seen some nice appreciation on a lot of these. Arbok, this is one I like. It's $13 to $19. It's funny, there was like someone pumped it. Again, we had a bunch of these illustration rare pumps. So I don't know if you guys were around then, but we've had a lot of those pumps. Mewtwo, I actually drew this one to Japanese. It's cool because it wasn't a promo. You actually had to get it from a pack. So that makes it special, even though, again, Japanese doesn't hold a lot of value. Sudowoodo, as a Gen 2 fan, I'm a big fan of that. Leafeon full art, again, drew this from Evolving Skies. So I didn't do too bad. I got a lot of hits when I was opening up packs compared to how bad the hit rate is in Evolving Skies. So got this full art Leafeon. That might be the most expensive thing that I got from Evolving Skies, opening up packs. And since I paid for like 100 for the ETB that I ended up opening up, so not the end of the world, but definitely didn't make my money back. And now, obviously, if you held it sealed, you'll see I held a lot sealed, so you'd be heavily into the positive, talking 4 or 5xing. Erica's Invitation, this is the one that just did not live up to release hype. Now down to $21. But again, you want a master set 151, so I'm sure there's a future for that card as well. Metal Mew card. The least expensive of the 3 promos, but in a way very interesting because we haven't gotten a lot of metal cards. So I could definitely see a future where this does really well. We got Squirtle that I also got from the Japanese pack. We got Masquerada, which I actually pulled, but I like it because when I played Scarlet Violet, it actually was the starter that I ended up getting. Gold Mew, up to 26. Charizard, Trainer Gallery. Let's see this. This was at $11, so more than 2x there. Iron Valiant. That one I got from a pack. Would not invest in that one personally, but it is a cool artwork. Mew VMAX from Lost Origin. Mismagius is more popular than I expected. So from $18 to $30. That one was one I got from a pack. Mew EX. Ninetales. Like this stuff I wasn't expecting to go up. I just, as a kid, I had a Ninetales and a Mewtwo card, and that's pretty much it. And so yeah, had to get another one when I started investing in Pokemon again. So we'll see if those old cards end up going up. Although a Dragonair and PSA 10 that I got ended up doing really well, as we'll see. Slowpoke 32. This, again, depending on how far back we go, but let's see here. So yeah, this one stayed kind of from a year ago, stayed kind of steady, but I definitely like it. Charizard EX, there you go, the most expensive full art from 151, $40. The Drowsy, absolutely love this card. Again, that was when I guess we were getting all those crazy illustration rare run-ups. And this one's actually down from a year ago, but I fully expect it to do well in the long term, especially since Scarlet Violet base is going out of rotation. So that's going to be interesting. I think people are sleeping on that set. I think they hate on it more than they should. Mewtwo, this one is insane story. Let's see if this will catch it. Like this one was even less expensive at some points. I feel like it was a few bucks at some points if you go back enough. Again, I don't have a paid collector membership, so we can't go all the way back. But $13.91 a year ago to $41.89 now. Crazy what happened to those UPCs that were readily available for a long time. So we have Psyduck here, 43. I feel like that one is up. Let's see, yeah, from 27 bucks to 43 in a year, not too bad. Charizard V, this is one of the ones I really like. So from a low of 1980 to doubling, over doubling, 45. Ivysaur, I actually got this one from a pack, which is cool now seeing it go all the way up to 47. It definitely wasn't always 47. At a low, it was 31. And here it was 46 a year ago exactly, but before that it was definitely lower. It was not always 46. Evolving Skies packs, that's another interesting thing to see. Now 50 bucks Canadian. I think this is a first. Yeah, I think this is right now we're at all-time high for Evolving Skies packs. So I got 2 loose ones from a tin. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. That should mean all products go up, get a bump as well. There's an interesting story behind this. This is Chilling Reign 2-pack blister. So I don't know if there's another way to get it, but the person that I bought the Pokemon Center Chilling Reign ETB, which is the first time I think they did a Pokemon Center ETB. They didn't put the extra pack in or the extra 2 packs. And so they gave this with it. So they did the ETB that says Pokemon Center on it, but only had the 8 packs, and then they sent these 2 extra packs as like an apology sort of thing to make up for it. And then it also has the 3 birds. I don't know if there was another way to get it, but if that was the only way to get it, I'm not surprised it's like 50 bucks now. I still have that, the ETB and this. So you could have got both back in the day for, and historically, like how interesting is that going to be? The first ever Pokemon Center ETB. So yeah, not selling that one anytime soon. Paldea Legends 10, that just seems like something that's gone up if I had to guess. Yeah, from 23 bucks to 49. Boof. Wow. Wow, for a 10? That's good growth. More than double in a year. Charizard VMAX, I think all of these have done well. 25 bucks, yeah, over doubled. Spoke on all these. Bulbasaur himself. This is the cool thing about Pokemon. I bought this to complete my master set of 151. So being a collector can make you do well in investing sometimes. So I just bought it to complete the collection. I bought it for like 20 something bucks Canadian, and I didn't expect it to grow, and now it's at 56 bucks. So pretty cool. Charmeleon here, 58 bucks. I have 5 of them, all from opening up packs, and they were definitely not always 58. Let's see. Within the last year, they went as low as 40. But yeah, cool to see these guys approaching 60 bucks. 151 poster collection is crazy, man. Like, why are poster collections so slept on? I don't know if it'll always be like that, but you literally, if you add the single packs, it would be more than 60 bucks Canadian. And yet you have this extra protection. You have this poster. You have these Cosmofoil holo cards of the starters we love. I feel like selling a poster collection now just doesn't make sense. Like, it makes more sense to just open it up and sell the packs individually. So I wonder if that'll fix itself at some point. I think there should be a sealed premium, or at least no premium, no discount. But yeah, right now you have a discount with the posters, so we'll see how that goes. Alakazam, always been the underrated card of the special illustration rare Pokemon in 151, but that makes it a good price point. And honestly, it was my least priority, but definitely I would pick this up if I see it. And if I didn't have one, and obviously when I'm vending, if I see someone wanting to sell it and I can get it at a percentage, like I'll definitely go for that one. Dioxys VMAX. This one I got from a pack, and honestly, this is one that I'm considering of selling because I just don't care about it personally. Like I don't know how popular Deoxys is. For me, I don't have the memory of it. To me, it's not that cool. So I like that other people like it. I'd probably go and invest in something else that I understand better. But I'm glad to see that this Deoxys has grown so much. It's cool that I actually opened up a pack and got a eventually $64 value. It was probably closer to 20 when I got it, but this Raichu was actually just given to me by a friend, so that was cool. Now it's $65. I feel like that's done well. Well, no, last year not so much, but since he gave it to me, I feel like it's definitely grown. Umbreon V. Again, we had these ups and downs. Still from 53 a year ago, it's up to $65. Mewtwo, like I said, I got the Mewtwo and Ninetales because childhood nostalgia. I needed them both. So this one's actually gone up. So from 52 to 65, that's cool. Did not buy them to go up, but it's cool that they are. Charizard V-Star, this is the one that I got so many copies of because I do believe it in the long term. So it went from $48 to $76 at a high of $105, right? And look, this is what we like to see. Yes, it went to a new high, it retraced, but the low was much higher than the previous low, and now we're at a pretty nice price point. So I'm up on all of the Charizard V-Stars I bought, which is cool. Eevee, always was interested in this card, but this one is actually down from a year ago. That's interesting. Bulbasaur, let's see. So 77. A year ago was 71. So this one's starting to recover. Ghastly, my favorite card from Temporal Forces. Look at that Gengar. Look at the Meowth. The artwork's amazing. The Alley, blah, absolutely amazing card. I would definitely add it to my collection if I didn't already have a Raw and a PSA 10. So it went from a year ago about $54 to 77. Dude. And yeah, guys, feel free to skip to the end of the video if you just want to get the number, but let me enjoy this reminiscing of my year in investing in Pokemon and the journey of it. Hope some people can appreciate that. This one took a while to go up. So 52 to 82. I feel like I was sitting on those for quite a bit without them going up. Charmander. Yeah, so a lot of these illustration rares, I feel like they were at a strong point a year ago, so we haven't seen insane growth. Like so 72 and then to 83. So nothing crazy, but you got to keep in mind a year ago illustration rares were on fire. So the fact that some of them are already higher than they were a year ago is a good thing. This Mew has, just like the Mewtwo promo, has done really well. So from 36, again, I remember when it was cheaper, all the way to 84, a high of 121. And again, a higher low at like around 73 and now bounced back to 84. So I will show you guys the entire chart as well. This, even though now we're up, it's not the highest point we were at in this portfolio. So I'll show you that as well. Pikachu V, this one has gone up a lot since I got it in a pack. I actually got 2 of them. So back here was 67. I feel like it was $20 when I pulled it initially. Zapdos EX, right? All of this 151 stuff, aside from the poster collections, are doing pretty good. Umbreon VMAX. 95 now, was 92. So surprisingly, some of these cards, we did get like a hype moment last year, and then we got like a decline, and now we have a recovery. But it's interesting to see some of these cards are kind of haven't moved if you just take where it started off a year ago and where it's at now. So that's interesting to see. Lickitung, I like my 151 Pokemon, right? Again, after the pump, it fell, but started off at $10 at $18, so almost doubled for the Lickitung. Like I said, investing in 151 at a good price. 151 Pokemon, not a bad idea. Zapdos, how many does it say I have here? So I had 2 a year ago. And yeah, this card is just a no-brainer. So what was it at here? 87, now it's a 96, but guys, legendary birds, right? Like I definitely bought some at the dip. Legendary birds, all 3 of them, like it's hard to beat that. Espeon, this one was such a no-brainer. It's Fusion Strike plus a cool Espeon promo on it, just like Evolving Skies had with Umbreon. So yeah, it went from $39 to $98. No surprise there. That was a very easy pickup. Squirtle. Squirtle's doing good. It's being recognized, given some chase card props here. So went from 86 to 100 now, with a high of 122. And by the way, guys, for all these like chase cards and stuff in popular Pokemon, I fully expect them to eclipse all-time highs at some point. But again, we're investing and we're long-term. We don't know when that could be and how long the wait could be. Pinsir here, 151 Pokemon from $9.93 to $11. A lot of pumps over the past year, that's for sure. These Divergent Tins are the ones that have 2 Evolving Skies in them, along with other old and cool packs. So yeah, not surprising this is doing well. You just have to know that there's Evolving Skies packs in them. But that's a great example of why it might not sometimes be good to sell tins when you have to sell them, because people might want to pay the market price. But if you're knowledgeable about this, you know that just the Evolving Skies packs alone in there are pretty much worth a tin. And then you get all the other 3 packs, I believe, for free. So yeah, tins, it feels like some of them you just better to open up and then just sell the packs independently. Shadow Rider Calyrex V, got this because I thought the artwork was awesome. Charizard EX Premium Collection. This has definitely gone up since I bought it. So it went up from 58 to 110. I remember when this was the new stuff, man. Now it's getting old. Going up in value. Mewtwo, again, down on this. Japanese, Master Ball, Reverse Holo. Still think it's awesome. Don't regret it. Mewtwo is one of my favorite Pokemon, along with Ninetales. It's a Reverse Master Ball. Like, it's hard to hit them. PSA 10. But yeah, as an investment, Japanese has not worked well for me. I don't know if I'm up on anything in Japanese, and I wouldn't recommend it, but if I am, it's not by like double or anything. It would be way less. Maybe I'm up on EV Heroes booster box, but not even by a double or anything. Like the stuff is not nearly as good as the English counterpart in my experience. Again, we're talking a year, but you can look at the charts, and EV Heroes I feel like should definitely be higher at this point. Regidrago V. That one's cool because there's a Lugia in there. You have Galarian Moltres V. Unknown V, right? Like a lot of these cards aren't super star power, but as this stuff ages, I think there's enough in there. For example, with the Unknown, the Nostalgia. For us Gen 2 fans, the Lugia and Regidrago, and honestly a really cool artwork. And then the Moltres V is the chase card of, well, one of the chase cards of Chilling Reign. And so getting another version of it for people who can't afford that one eventually, or just, want to complete the Moltres V collection, will have to get this card. So it's just, it makes sense This one's up from pretty much doubled. The raw doubled. Scarlet Violet Elite Trainer Box. Yeah, this stuff was not expensive, guys. Now it's looking nice at 124. Yeah, up from 58 bucks. So more than double. Again, people said Scarlet Violet Elite Trainer Box was weak. Not so much anymore. Like relatively speaking, I guess, but if you bought it back then, you're looking good now. All right, so Venusaur. This one is interesting. Obviously, Celebrations is getting some love now. So the raw is went from 10 bucks to 14 bucks, nothing crazy, which is kind of why I expect more Celebrations love before everything is said and done. Let's see the PSA 10. Weird chart. Can't really make anything out of that. Let's see. So PSA 10 was 80 bucks Canadian. Now it's 127, so up about 50%. But the funny story is about how you could be a bad Pokemon investor and still make money. I wanted when I got back into the hobby the Charizard, the Venusaur, and the Blastoise, and then I'm like, okay, obviously I can't afford the originals in PSA 10, but this Celebrations version with the Pikachu, I can get the artworks and still afford it. So I'm just gonna go on eBay and like I saw it, I'm like I can afford that. I bought it way above market price, and yet now I'm way above my initial payment for them just because I waited and I sat on them. So I didn't know to go on eBay to like least priced, and I didn't know to do the research beforehand. I just bought all three of them together for well above market price, and just sitting on them, it paid off. Now I'm pretty much well into the green for those three in PSA 10, and I expect it to grow more this year with 30th anniversary. Parent, this one I actually got from a pack. I'm very happy to see how well it retained its value. I don't know why. Maybe someone can explain, but I'm not complaining. Pidgeot EX, I still think this is good value. This is a PSA 10. 128. I purchased mine all for $100 or less, but I still think there's a lot of room to grow there. Pidgeot, iconic Pokemon. This has a whole line that goes with it. Obviously, the artwork, you can love it or hate it, but it's unique, and I feel like it'll age well, the card, and the price points. Blaziken VMAX, Blaziken V, right? You have a chance to get a Blaziken, which is the chase card of Chilling Reign, the number one, and you have May in the images as well, so I knew this would do well long term. Also bought them for like less than $100 each. Scarlet and Violet Elite Trainer Box. This one's more expensive. The Violet one. And you have $132. Paladin Fates Booster Bundles. This have definitely done well. Yeah, from $67 to $132. People are going crazy for that right now. Leafeon V Full Art. Did well on that. Again, Evolving Skies chase cards. I was eating them all up. I was getting as many as I could. Silver Tempest normal Elite Trainer Box, now $141. Think about that. So you could have just picked it up and it would have doubled just like that. Horsey, obviously you guys know I like the 151. Illustration Rares in PSA 10. Let's see how that one's been doing. Again, these pumps are ruining the graphs, but from 17 to 32, so almost doubling. That's pretty cool. 151 booster bundles, they got to be up, right? Yeah. From around 93 to 144, right? Over 50% up. Miriam, she was a chase card at one point in Scarlet and Violet base. I like Scarlet and Violet base. I wanted to get the chases. There's a Pikachu in it. So, yeah, I invested in that one. Let's see. Again, I don't usually recommend investing in stuff that's not Pokemon. This one's down, let's see, from $50 to currently $30. Yeah. So Miriam did not age like a parent, that's for sure. Hisuian Growlithe, speaking of parent, that goes with the parent. This is the PSA 10. So this one's had again that freaking buyout, bro. They were buying out everything, but from 14 to 21, so pretty good growth on that. Stellar Crown Pokemon Center Elite Trainer Box. This is just something you buy from Pokemon Center when people weren't buying them out right away. I had a while to think on this, and then my wife liked the Noctowl, and I liked it as a second gen Pokemon as well. So I'm like, okay, I'll buy it, and obviously you can't go too wrong with that. Like my least favorite ones would have to be Pokemon I have no connection with, like the Ogre from Twilight Masquerade Pokemon Elite trainer box, and then the Shrouded Fable. Like I don't even remember what that thing is called. That's on that promo, but a Noctowl to me was definitely worth it. Blastoise now 160 Canadian for a PSA 10 celebrations. Galarian Rapidash, right? I love this card. So 63 to 83. Nothing crazy, but man, that is a beautiful artwork. Paldean Fates 10's the one with the Charizard. So these ones definitely did well. 83 to pretty much doubling in the last 365 days. Crown Zenith Booster Bundle. That's been growing really nicely. I got these, I feel like, for like $32 at Walmart. And yeah, look at that growth. That is nice. 25. Lorcana was a disappointment. You guys know, like when this stuff comes out, I was thinking at one point to get one of each Lorcana booster box, and then I pretty much stopped. So I'm glad I didn't keep going. But yeah, this one, the first one I'm up on, the first Lorcana first chapter, because I believe there's a reason to invest in the first ever of something. I think that's really cool. So first ever, Disney's a big brand, right? So that was a no-brainer, and they're about 400 Canadian right now, so I'm up on that. But yeah, Disney Lorcana is not doing well. We'll see if they can change that. But I did the same for One Piece. I think we might see here as well. But One Piece, I did really well. I paid like 200 something Canadian, and it's up to like 2,000 Canadian for the first booster box. Glaceon V-Star, obviously. Evolutions. Raikou, Legendary Dogs. I love that. Temporal Forces Pokemon Center Elite Trainer Box. Again, I got this because like as a collector, and because like you immediately have more than your value back on these ones. But I just don't like Temporal Forces that much. I don't care much for the promos here either. So these ones are ones I'd be willing to sell and invest into something I believe in more. Personally, like, yeah, they're cool, but they're not the cream of the crop. You're going to have to find someone interested in collecting all of the Pokemon Center Elite Trainer boxes, or who like Temporal Forces. So yeah, these ones I would get rid of. There's some I wouldn't. Like the Paldea Evolved Pokemon Center Elite Trainer box, that's not going anywhere. 151 binder collection, right? These ones, I only have one, but the growth on them from like MSRP has been amazing. Iono, Paldea Evolved, not too bad. Let's see, in PSA 10, $246 to about 200 for PSA 10. So that one declined. Again, the trainers, aside from Perrin, were not the best investment. But again, one hopes that when they see that Pikachu and Eevee stuffy like toys, you're like, okay. And I don't know it's popular, so I wouldn't be surprised if this card makes a comeback at some point. Astral Radiance Pokemon Center Elite Trainer Box. I just like bought one of everyone when, again, we could buy stuff off Pokemon Center. And yeah, that was not a bad decision. So Astral Radiance, nothing crazy. Paid like, what was it back in the day for Sword and Shield? I want to say $67 or something like that. And now it's 196 on the market. Chansey, this one did really well. From $21 to 36. I mean, I bought it because it was 151 Chansey, but also it's her natural habitat, so to speak. It's the Pokemon Center. You have other 151 Pokemon, which I always think is cool. So that card was an easy choice for me. Galarian Zapdos. I like the crossovers. This is like Roadrunner, so this was cool. I'm just missing one of them. I'm missing Galarian Articuno. Let's see how this one did in the past year. It's weird. Yeah, I guess everything got pumped a bit around. Let's see when this was. March? But 63 to 74. So this one is up in the year. Leafeon V-Star. Clearly, people prefer this one to the Glaceon currently. This one's up. Not surprising when you look at Crown Zenith Sealed. So Twilight Masquerade Pokemon Center Elite Trainer Box is higher than some other ones. Mainly because it's Twilight Masquerade, right? Mainly because you can get the Greninja, you can get the Parent, you can get the Eevee. Not so much because of the promo. I don't think a lot of people care for that promo. This Dragonair 151 might not be up, might have pretty much stayed in the same place, but that just makes me think I want to pick up more. That's what that makes me think when I see that staying in the same place for so long. I love Dragonair. It's really cool. Really cool Pokemon, and I think Pokemon agrees since they highlighted it in 151. Suicune, the king of the legendary dogs in terms of these Crown Zenith artworks. So I'm guessing this was up since everything Crown Zenith seems to be up. 54 to what is it now? 58. Yeah, a little bit up. But yeah, a lot of this tells me there's room to run for a lot of these cards. The fact that we've kind of stayed in the same place for a while. This one went from 40 to 61. I actually got this from a pack, and then I bought a PSA 10 afterwards for like $100. But yeah, I really like the artwork there. And Sylveon's obviously popular. These guys I got back in the day for 100 or less in PSA 10. So this one, aside from the pump, has pretty much gone up a little. But with Paldea Evolved going out of circulation or rotation, and it being such a popular set, I feel like you never know what can happen with a lot of these illustration rares in Paldea Evolved, because there's a lot of them. Rhydon EX, again, Scarlet Violet base. Such a sick artwork. Such an awesome artwork. Yeah, legendary Pokemon of the generation, the more favored one, if you ask me, plus an amazing artwork. I definitely believe that this will do good long term. How's the graded done? Let's see. PSA 10 was 100, now it's 214. Yeah, so I'm definitely up on this. Brilliant Stars, Pokemon Center Elite Trainer Box, right? So how easy it was back then, eh? To buy Pokemon, and then now you can't find anything on the Pokemon Center. I love this card. So let's see. Has this card moved? 26, 30, up slightly. So yeah, this one's definitely one that I really like. I have a lot of them. Including a PSA 10. But at the same time, I feel like the story is with some of these cards that the graded ones might have gone up more than the raws. So it was at 187. Now it's at 221. But yeah, again, I'm gonna get into the vending, so I might be selling some of my Poliwhirls to actually experience vending and build some connections. But yeah, if I could buy this at a percentage while I'm vending, I definitely would. Obsidian Flames normal Obsidian Flames Elite Trainer Box, $226 from 88 to 226. Oh my god, because of that Charmander artwork, this is the one for the people that can't afford the Pokemon Center Elite Trainer stamp. But still, the stamped one is so popular that this one ended up being boosted as a result. So that's something to look out for. Once the Pokemon Center stamped versions go into the stratosphere, a lot of people will look to the normal non-stamped ones. So Champion's Path, it's finally making a run. Okay, I felt like this was like at 130s forever. So it's 228. Cool. Glad to see that. This is one that I wasn't aware had gone up by $100. Gardevoir EX. So This one hit a high of 86. Now it's at 70 Canadian. Again, this one is an easy buy at this point, in my opinion, if you don't have it. Went from 226 for a PSA 10 to 239, so slightly up, but definitely nothing significant yet. Legend of the Blue Eyes White Dragon. These ones are so nostalgic, guys. They reprinted the thing for the 25th anniversary, so I got two for 115 Canadian each, so they more than doubled. They haven't been doing anything for a while. Let's see. For a while, but yeah. Now they're starting to move again. I got a whole case of these Paradox Rift Pokemon Center Elite Trainer boxes, so I'm glad that they've fared pretty well compared to some other ones. $250 for that. And here's the Chilling Reign thing I was talking about, right? So the Chilling Reign Pokemon Center Elite Trainer box, $250 now, plus that other thing that goes with it. And I don't know if you can even charge more if you have both of them together, but that's $300 individually if you collect them up. So yeah, not bad for something that didn't even have a promo card in it. And again, I think historically, being the first one ever, I think for Pokemon Center Elite Trainer boxes will be significant. So we have Caesar. Super hard to grade this. So this one is one that is actually down from 15 to 1262. So I'd be looking like, to me, this is a deal at this point. The Caesar PSA 10s. How have they fared? Weird. We don't. Okay, let's see. So from 201 to 254. So that PSAs have done better than the raw. Persian. This one is, to me, underrated. And I think, so if you guys don't know, the ones that are ahead of Persian in the Shrouded Fables set are pretty much playable. So when the playability is no longer a factor, this Persian will rise to the top, and it will be the chase card once again. It was at one point, and it will be the chase card once again. So I would be keeping an eye out for this Persian. I have one in PSA 10. I'm up on it, but I think there's room to grow there in the upcoming years. So Heavy Hitters Premium Collection, again, an easy buy from Costco. I think it was like $70. So that more than tripled. Costco, when you see something, it's a no-brainer, really. Not that I see anything these days, because, yeah, if you guys are new, the market was not like this a year and two ago. Garchomp EX, this one was an easy buy for me. Why? So from 34 to 34, this one kind of stayed the same aside from that pump. This one was an easy buy for me because, let's see the PSA, 194 to 264. So good growth on the PSA 10, which is the one I have. There's only 3 of these things, man. So the Charizard from Obsidian Flames, who's a dark Charizard, which is cool. People are sleeping on that card, man. And then there's the Garchomp, which is a water type, terrestrialization, whatever. And then there's the Greninja, which is a fighting type. Those 3 are the only ones for that terrestrialization, whatever, phase of the hobby. So having the 3, I think you can't go wrong in the long term. I think people will want to complete those 3. Maybe in the future you can even sell them as a collection. I don't know, but I have all of 3 of them in PSA 10, and yeah, I'm glad I do. So Pokemon 151 Japanese, guys, so down on this. So see, this was 152, 159. Now people could have climbed this up, but I feel like I paid over $300 for these, so I'm like just getting, not even making my money back again. Yeah, we'll see. Long term, again, I'm sitting on it. Long term, I will probably make my money back, even though it's Japanese. But just comparing it to the English, just incomparable. Surging Sparks Pokemon Center Elite Trainer box. I got from Pokemon Center, got a box of 4. In this situation, Surging Sparks is a good set. You have the Shinji Khan, the Magneton promo, so this works on a lot of levels. The thing that wasn't great for PSA 10 collectors, which is why I only have one Magneton PSA 10 is it was very easy to grade, and there was a lot of these boxes released, way more than earlier sets. You can tell from the pop reports. So because of that, that Magneton can never reach the heights of, let's say, the Charmander or the Pikachu from Paldea Evolved. But that doesn't mean it won't grow from here. So that's definitely still a good investment in the long term. Eevee Evolutions Premium Collection. This I love because I still have the sticker from GameStop on it, where it was like $60 Canadian. So that's more than 4x. I'm going to keep that sticker on it always because it'll be cool if one day it's like $1,000 and I'm like, yeah, I bought this, you can see, for $60. These guys too were like $70, $273 now for this Crown Zenith premium figure collection. This Costco stuff honestly shocked me. So I'm going to show you the amount in the end, and that's minus 2 things that I ended up opening up, not even selling, but I ended up opening up. So I had to take it off this thing. So this would have been probably 750 more when you see the final number if I didn't open these things up. But whatever, I had a moment of weakness, if you will. So for this one, it's now $275. I can tell you it definitely wasn't $275 when I opened up the other one. But yeah, this has grown really well. I have no idea why it has grown this well, but I guess just Paldean Fates. And the Bubble Mew, like I opened it up before the Bubble Mew stuff, I think really popped off. Noivern V, he looks like Batman, guys. That was enough for me to buy this in PSA 10. Let's see how the PSA 10 did in the last 12 months. Started off at 145, now at 276, so almost doubled. So even though it's not the most popular Pokemon, sometimes there could be enough going for it, right? Amazing artwork, looks like Batman from Evolving Skies, alt art. Like, yeah, it's fun. You could play with it. It doesn't always have to check every box, but I can check enough and still do well. Crown Zenith Premium Collection. I have more of these than the Zamazenta ones, so I'm glad that this one's even more expensive. Heracross, this guy had a low pop before. Yeah, 567, still pretty low pop. As a Gen 2 lover, it makes sense. This was 236 a year ago, 281, so some modest growth. But again, I don't think we've seen Paldea Evolved really take off. I think there's a lot of room for growth, especially because this was still in the early part of Scarlet Violet where they hadn't figured out the printing quality. So the PSA 10s, I'm excited for that, bro. Paradox Rift Pokemon Center Elite Trainer Box. This one sold out before the other one, so it's not surprising that it's more expensive. Again, Ninetales. Shout out to Ninetales. Ninetales Corner. 289. Let's see how this one did. Yeah, again, this is at a nice point for me in terms of, buying. $28, had a high of $47. Let's see the PSA 10. 354 a year ago, and now it's 290, 4,434. Right, so if I didn't have a PSA 10, I think that's a nice point to pick it up, especially with Obsidian Flames going out of rotation. Pikachu VMAX, this is definitely has to be a PSA 10. So the raw went up, and the graded one went up from 195 to 298. So solid return in a year. This one people were insane to sleep on. People were saying it's Lugia or bust in Silver Tempest, and I never got that. This card was always amazing to me. People were really sleeping on the trainer galleries back then, man. All right, so let's go back to PSA. 298 and it's 305 a year ago. All right, I got it at 100, so for the PSA 10 or something like that, so it tripled. That's how much people were sleeping on this card. So Crown Zenith Elite Trainer Box 311. This has definitely been growing. pretty much tripled. Glad I have some exposure to that, along with the booster bundles and the premium collections. War Turtle. I love War Turtle. So the raw has stayed pretty consistent at around $50, and the PSA 10 was 261, so it's grown a bit. So that seems to be the story with 151. A lot of stuff may be up a bit, but since we have an extra year, it's an extra year old, might be a good time if you don't have what you want from 151 to, bite the bullet and get it, because I don't see it, staying at the same price for another year, just like it did last time. But we'll see. Long term, the more you wait, I feel like the less of a chance you're decreasing your chances of getting it, I should say, at a reasonable price. Paradox Rift booster box, again, no, I do like Paradox Rift, and I got it for super cheap. So in my other portfolio, after I made this one, which we're not going to go through today, but I actually ended up buying a case of this for like 150 Canadian. So I've doubled on that and on this. Battle Styles booster box. These two, that's funny that these two are like neck and neck when you think about Paradox Rift not even being a popular Scarlet Violet set, and you think about Battle Styles being way older. Yeah, we'll see. And the Battle Styles, the craziest thing is that Tyranitar is actually a good chase. That's the craziest thing. Scarlet and Violet booster box, right? Anyone who says that this wasn't a good investment, I bought it like 140. And I bought one here, and then I bought a case of it for 140 per booster box. That's how much people were sleeping on it. It was the least expensive for a while. But as much as people are going to hate on it, it's an amazing base set, has amazing artwork, introduced that whole evolution artwork connected line with the routes, Kirlia, Gardevoir. There's going to be hype around the fact that grading was really hard. The Drowsy, the Slowpoke, and it's a base set. People just like to collect base sets. It's like Sword and Shield base set sucks. The cards suck, relatively speaking. And yet it's like $800. So yeah, I think Scarlet Violet base is going to surprise. It already has surprised a lot of people, and I think it'll continue to do so. Vivid Voltage finally showing some solid numbers, 352. That has to be up in the year, right? Yeah, 224 to 352. Again, guys, even when it's not the craziest set, you give it time. Time's your friend, and you'll probably do better in the long run. Celebi, let's see this one. This one's stayed pretty level. Let's see, the PSA 10 was at 339, and now it's at 361. So again, this one, it's cool that you could buy it now for around the same price it was a year ago, and Fusion Strike has taken off since then. So that to me looks good, right? That chart looks good in terms of Celebi and what's in store for it. Flareon VMAX Premium Collection, like I got all three of them, right? So that's just something that's been trucking along. It's a desirable collection box. Went from 189 to 362. Not the biggest gains percentage-wise, but like these, people recognize that it was already special because of the alt arts. Mimikyu, this one is the craziest. I got this one before Pokemon Center hype was a thing. Pokemon Center stamp hype was a thing. And I got it for $60 Canadian for a PSA 10. So now the raw is 69 and 362 is the PSA 10 price. So killed it on that Mimikyu. Charizard V, I remember getting this for, I believe it was 150 Canadian, and it wasn't growing for the longest time. And I'm like, okay, well, whatever, it's a cool artwork. Because this is before my time, like Champion's Path. I'm like, it's a cool artwork, and then it actually ended up growing, so that's cool. Pikachu, this one I think will be up because I think people are starting to recognize how good it is. So it was 46, now it's 60. Right, look at all the 151 Pokemon it has, guys. Okay, 216 to 367. Yeah, so this is one of the ones that has separated from the pack. It's clearly up in the last year, even though a lot of 151 has kind of stayed around the same level. So I'm not surprised, right? I got a PSA 10, I got 2 Raws here in this portfolio, and it was just an obvious play, right? This was still when grading was, when printing quality was bad, 8,000 and 14,000 PSA 9s. So yeah, this one it's Pikachu, guys. It's 151. It's all these 151 Pokemon in there. Gengar making an appearance. Like, sometimes it's just obvious, you know? Stellar Crown. Wow, 368. 368 for Stellar Crown. Nice. Pikachu. That Squirtle and Bulbasaur is. Thank God they put those in. Because if they didn't, that would have been the worst set. Pikachu Lost Origin. I bought 5 of these, all around $100 or less Canadian. Now we're at 369. I feel like these were higher at one point. Yeah, it went as high as 576. So I may sell off some, but I wouldn't sell off. I think I only have 4 in PSA 10 actually. Let me double check here. Yeah, 4 in PSA 10, 1 raw. And I may sell 1 off, obviously in the profit, but definitely am keeping at least 1. But this is the time, with this older stuff, I start to consider whether it's worth selling when you 4x your initial investment, right? Temporal Forces, but yeah, that's Pikachu still, so it's hard to make that call. Temporal Forces booster box. Yeah, not the biggest believer in Temporal Forces, but in every Scarlet Violet base set, in every Scarlet Violet set period, there's something to look for, and that includes this one: Ghastly, Arbok, Lickitung. Maybe some people will even grow to like the Paradox Beasts. We'll see. Starmie V. This one has definitely been doing well. 101 to 131, and the graded 356 to 380. I know I bought it for a lot cheaper, and now it's 380. So I think this one may actually overtake the Machamp V. So if it does, you heard it here first. But eventually, it's Misty, it's Starmie. Maybe we'll get some Starmie hype with the new Mega Starmie set coming out. So we'll see. Glaceon V, right? This is PSA 10. Meryl, PSA 10, right? 386. Let's see. This one reached a high of 656. But there's only 665 of them, so we'll see. Like I said, there should be another Paldea Evolved run, I feel like, at some point for the illustration rares, but we'll see when that is. Jolteon VMAX, this one's clearly more expensive than the Flareon, although, how much was the Flareon? 362, not a big difference. 387. Squirtle, now this is a PSA 10, 389, and then I got Raws as well. I wonder, I feel like this one would have grown. PSA 10 was 270, so yeah, nice growth there for the Squirtle. Lost Origin Pokemon Center Elite Trainer box, $400 now. Crazy. No promo. See, this one I'm up on. Disney Lorcana, the first chapter. Like, the first of something is a pretty safe bet. Almost $400 here. Pikachu, this one I bought in PSA 10 for 150. Now it's 408. Paldean Fates, right? Took off. A lot of people didn't see it coming. Rayquaza V. This is a raw, I think, is it? Yeah, this is just a raw. What's the graded at now? Graded is 882. Yeah, so definitely a good chart for this one. This one pretty much doubled. Twilight Masquerade doing 415. So many people hated on Obsidian Flames. So many people said, like, don't invest in Obsidian Flames. And obviously they were saying like Temporal Forces was better. So Temporal Forces here at 371. And it depends what you're looking at. Obviously Obsidian Flames had easier pull rates, which can hurt the value of the singles. But the caliber of Pokemon, the artworks, I think were all really good. So it's, again, maybe surprising to see it above Twilight Masquerade, but it's older, right? So Twilight Masquerade at 415, Obsidian Flames currently ahead of it at 416. Also bought a case of this for like 150 Canadian per booster box. This is the Dragonair that I bought for 150 and actually went up to 437. So almost tripled on that base set unlimited PSA 10 Dragonair. Did not expect that to go up that much for sure. Fusion Strike Pokemon Center Elite Trainer Box, right? Not surprising it's up here. Fusion Strike's been getting a lot of love this past year. Let's just look at the chart for that. 186 to 442, right? And you even have the Mew on the box. It's like Vaporeon, the most expensive of these premium collections. That's why I got two. Venusaur, 447 for the PSA 10. Darkness Ablaze, 450. Wow, that's impressive Darkness Ablaze numbers. That's definitely grown. Yeah, 254. That's going on doubling at this point. Sylveon V, 464. Pokemon Trading Card Game Classic. People were sleeping on this for a long time. I think they still are. But I picked up a bunch from Costco at 250 Canadian. And I think 466 is not the ceiling. So it'll be interesting to see how that goes. Mew V, full art. This one was my budget choice when I was recommending cards. It's down a fair bit from its high. Dude, it went that high? 280. Wow. You're almost looking at a doubling if it returns where it was. And the PSA 10 has definitely done well. 283 all the way to 476. Blastoise PSA 10. Dragonite V. This is a PSA 9, guys. And I bought it for like 150. It might have been USD though. 150 USD. And yeah, like let's see, what's the raw at? So the raw is 550. This is 486. PSA 9 is pretty much mint. It's not gem mint, but it's mint. So if a near mint is going for 550, PSA 9 is going for 486. That will not always last. So either way, I'm very profitable on this Dragonite V. But I think at some point, the PSA 9 will surpass the near mint. But I don't know when that'll be. Either way, if you're like me and you have PSA 9 and you really want to sell it, you can crack it open. But no, I definitely expect the PSA 9 to go up in price. To at least match, but most likely surpass the raw as time goes on. This one has always been one of my favorites. So-so artwork. Here we have in PSA 10. It's gone from... This one's actually down from a year ago. 628 to 495. Although it's been as low as below 400. So yeah, this one looks intriguing for sure. At this price point, giving its Evolving Skies and everything. So Machamp V, not the hypest of chases, but has been up in the past year. And a year ago, it was 389 PSA 10. Now it's 495. So nice growth. Nice quiet growth on the Machamp V. Not a lot of people talking about it. Now these are the ones. I opened one of the Evolving Skies Elite Trainer box. So that's minus 495 from the total. But it had a rip in it. So like, I just use it as an excuse to open it up. Let me know what you guys have when you get rips in your stuff. Like how much would you discount it and everything like that. But it's kind of getting ridiculous to discount it a lot at this point because if you look at the packs, there's 8 in here. That's already 400. So how much are you going to take off for a rip, right? You still got the box. It's still sealed. You still get all the bonus stuff in there. Like how much lower can you go from 495 if the packs alone are 400? So that's an interesting question. If someone who has more selling experience wants to tell me what they would do in that situation, let me know. Mewtwo V-Star, another one that'll age perfectly. It's already been going up. Mewtwo and Charizard in a card together, guys. Like, it's not complicated. I I want to say I bought this for 150 Canadian. A year ago it was already 450. And then now it's 524. But yeah, when I initially bought this, I want to say it was for 150 Canadian. So yeah, like, so obvious, man. Mewtwo fighting Charizard. Evolving Skies Elite Trainer Box, the one with the Umbreon on it, not surprisingly, is a bit more expensive. Paldean Fates Pokemon Center Elite Trainer Box, right? So glad I got these. I got a sealed case of them. $528 compared to the like $80 you pay per one. Groudon's holding up nicely. So the raw, not looking super strong, but 566 to 534. Yeah, so the PSA 10 from exactly a year ago is down a bit too. But yeah, it's same story, I guess, holding on to a similar price point. But when you see it was as high as 150 and then it was as high as second time as 134, I think if you don't have this, it's definitely a good time to add it to your collection. It's the Chase Card Paradox Rift, plus it's a Groudon, right? Like, Groudon is popular. It's a cool artwork. Hidden Fates Elite Trainer Box. Now we're getting to 500 plus stuff, so we shouldn't be too long here. But yeah, Hidden Fates Elite Trainer Box. This for a while was not moving for me, price-wise. I don't know if it was stuck at 300 or something. But yeah, good to see it almost double since then. Finally, it's on the move. Here's a normal 151 Elite Trainer Box, right? It's definitely gone up. Nothing crazy there. 223. Nothing crazy just because we expected 151 sealed product to go up. But obviously crazy price for a normal ETB. Astral Radiance Booster Box is at $543. A lot of people think that's slept on. Obviously, there aren't the strongest chase cards, but there are a lot of potential chases. There's depth in that set, so to speak. Aerodactyl V, 544 for the PSA 10. So that one was probably be around the same area. So growth on the raw and 475. Some nice growth on the PSA 10. Raichu, it did reach a high before, so it's kind of like flat on the raw. Now let's see. So it reached a high of 851, which is cool. So, and it's up about from 500 to $550 in the past year. So, I wouldn't be surprised if with Paldea Evolved going out and out of rotation and out of print stuff going on, that we see those old numbers again at some point. Galarian Moltres V. Let's see this one. Some nice growth, yeah. PSA 10 went from 492 to 554, right? So again, a lot of these charts making me think we have room to grow on some of these chases, especially older chases. 562 for Paldea Evolved. That's definitely done well this year. From 265. Now you can't find anything below 300 pretty much, Canadian. Sword and Shield. These ones I bought from Walmart at $125 each. So now 566. You have those amazing Charizard promos in there. Another one I'm down on, again, Japanese, Pikachu Reverse Master Ball. It was the most expensive of the Master Balls. I thought, okay, let's get it. Still hasn't recovered. Charizard alone, I feel like more than covers what I paid for all three in PSA 10 at this point. $600 for the PSA 10 Charizard Celebrations. Glaceon VMAX, bought this back in the day, I want to say for $300. And now it's doubled. Glaceon VMAX. Charizard EX. Everyone hating on Obsidian Flames and this Charizard, but it was hard to grade. So let's see. There are 12,000 of them, but Charizard's powerful enough to still justify a very expensive PSA 10, $642. I have two of these in PSA 10, got them around 300 point, so doubled up on that. And again, guys, the raw at one point was 175. With it going out of rotation, do we, getting older, do we really think that it won't eventually reach 170 again? I don't. Meaning, I do think it'll reach 170 and beyond again at some point. Paldea Evolved Pokemon Center Elite Trainer Box, right? I love this one because I love Paldea Evolved and I love that Pikachu. So $652. I'm sure there's a lot of growth there from 333. Rebel Clash was definitely a grower this past year, doubling, more than doubling. Again, an example of something that doesn't have a lot of good cards in it, but age and maybe low print run had its effect. Obsidian Flames Pokemon Center Elite Trainer Box managed to scoop 4 of these in a sealed case from Pokemon Center. So like I said, that was like $80 per. Now it's $672 per. Leafeon VMAX, right? This one has definitely seen higher days. Let's see, the PSA 10 was at 752 and now it's at 677. So I do expect a lot of these cards to see growth in the upcoming years because they have retraced from high points and Evolving Skies is only getting older. Silver Tempest booster box, 688. All these Sword and Shield booster boxes killed it. More than doubled on the Silver Tempest. Chilling Rain, 422 to 694. I have 12 of these, so yeah, definitely like seeing that grow. This one, like I may be in the profit on this one, but again, compared to Evolving Skies, I should have just put it in Evolving Skies. I shouldn't have even bothered with the Japanese one, but I do like having this artwork. Like it's a very cool display piece, I guess you can say. Guys, even base set booster pack. I bought this for nostalgia more than anything, but it's gone up $745. Espeon VMAX. This one was slept on. Not trying to make a joke, but it was slept on for a long time. Let's see, in the last year. So 861 to 773. So still not at its high point, but yeah, we'll see. It's the second chase card in Fusion Strike. These guys were crazy, bro. You could get as many as you wanted from Costco, I feel like at one point, for $120 Canadian. And now the ones I still have sealed are worth $783 each. Crazy. Brilliant Stars, 788. Nice growth on that. Right, a lot of Sword and Shield stuff. And that's why it's good to be like a long-term investor. Like, let's say some of your Scarlet and Violet stuff falls, which, again, it hasn't been, but let's say it does. Sword and Shield could still be going strong, right? And then eventually, if Mega Evolution stuff falls, Scarlet and Violet stuff will be going strong. So you kind of always protected in that sense. So 535 to 830. So yeah, this one seems to be right now the winner of the non-Magikarp illustration rares in Paldea Evolved, right? I feel like the Raichu and it were battling each other, but right now the Tyranitar seems to be in a very good position. Is that the all-time high? No, 1,126. Yeah, I never understood when people were like, Paldea Evolved just has the Magikarp. It's like, no, man. Just the Tyranitar and the Raichu alone as like a second, third chase is very strong. Okay, so Charizard EX. Bought this one for, I feel like, 300 or 400, probably closer to 300 in PSA 10. Let's see. PSA 10 exactly a year ago was 694, so it has grown since then. Obviously not as much as the Bubble Mew. Sword and Shield, this is what I'm talking about. Base sets do well. 884. That's definitely grown, but it was expensive even a year ago. Yeah, 460 and 884 now. Crazy, bro. Sleeping Tyranitar V. So these Tyranitars sometimes battle it out just because this one's so hard to grade. There are only 1,634 of them. This one, there's going to be way more. 6,275. But it's older. So I think that's playing a factor too. Plus, it's the chase card in Battle Styles. So I don't think it's necessarily better to be the chase card in Battle Styles versus a chase card in Paldea Evolved, but I don't know. Let me know what you think about that. Sylveon VMAX, we got doing well, 907 for the PSA 10. Charizard V finally getting appreciation. I think this one would have to be up, yeah. This one is up in raw, and the PSA 10 I think would be even more up. So it was a 603, now it's 929. So over 50% gain on this. This was lagging behind. It didn't make sense. It's Charizard, it's an Altart. It's a chase card for a popular set. This was definitely undervalued. Blaziken VMAX, not the strongest grower, but looks like the raw price is up in the past year. And then the PSA 10, 876 to now 934. So modest growth there for the Blaziken VMAX. Again, I think the more I'm looking at this, the more I think a lot of the Sword and Shield PSA 10s and singles are going to make a run at some point and kind of like make up for the fact that they haven't been running to a large part while the booster boxes have been running. So we'll see what happens there. Lost Origin all the way from 538 to 966 bucks, at one point over 1,000 Canadian. This Greninja has been holding strong. I think it might be, let's see here. So the raw is actually down, not crazy, but from 457. Now the PSA 10, I wonder if that would be down. So 1,089 to 1,030. So down a bit on the PSA 10, but really just level for a while, which is you kind of have to expect when you're buying current stuff. You can't expect like, stuff we've been seeing from the Sword and Shield booster boxes with these cards that are relatively new. Umbreon V is up nicely. What is it? 296 to 511 for the raw. That's crazy, dog. Umbreon killing it. It was 825 and now it's 1,006, so some solid growth there. Pokemon Center Elite Trainer Box, 1,112, right? Pokemon Center means a lot, over doubled on this. This one's finally growing. I feel like it was at the 500s where I bought it for a long time. And yeah, now it's, or maybe I bought it at 450, but it was there at a long time around that point. And finally it's more than doubled here. So with the anniversary coming up, that makes sense. I expect more growth. Lugia V was slept on, 353 to 483, but I think we'll see even better growth in the raw, in the PSA 10, 965 to 1,270. Fusion Strike Booster Box, one of the stories of the last year, became the second most popular set after Evolving Skies. Lost Origin was always like sort of in competition with it. So from 680 to 1,329. Charizard EX, right? The chase card of 151 in PSA 10, this was always going to be like a good long-term investment. The raw is up a bit. And PSA 10 went from... PSA 10 is actually down a bit. But long-term, I wouldn't be worried about that. Evolving Skies Pokemon Center Elite Trainer Box. This one was surprising. I bought this one for $190, I want to say Canadian. And it's grown all the way to 1,510. Yeah, look at that. From 392, bam, 1,510. That one grew a lot. Have two of those. And this one, let's see, how's this one been? Raw is up from 1,249 to 1,870. So nothing crazy there for the PSA 10. Not bad, obviously, but nothing crazy. But the thing is, I bought these. Everybody knows the story if you watch the channel, but I bought five of them PSA 10 from 150 USD to 500 USD. And the first one I bought was 150, the last one was 500, and the other ones were in between. And then I stopped at the 500 mark. And now they've all grown, like, obviously quite a lot. But it's hard for me to, I kind of want to, because the population is so limited, I kind of want to get more. But it's hard for me to fork out that much money when I paid so much less for my five. So I feel like this will be a situation where I just hold my five or maybe sell into its strength at some point. Obviously, I'll probably keep one at least, but I kind of want to buy more, but it's, yeah, I don't know. We'll see. If we have significant dips, I'm definitely actually open to building this position. Otherwise, if it keeps going from strength to strength, I might start selling a bit of them. Obviously, not all of them at once, but yeah, there's been insane growth on that. Scarlet and Violet booster box case, right? 1,921. Let's see how much that's grown. Yeah, so almost doubled. Rayquaza VMAX PSA 10. This one I think will grow a lot. Yeah, 773. No, this is the raw. No, a year ago this was surprisingly 2,427. Crazy. Yeah, I bought mine for 800 in PSA 10, so I'm doing well. But yeah, that's interesting. Like I said, guys, room for growth on a lot of this stuff. It's only getting older, and yet in some cases the price is lower than it was a year ago. And it's Evolving Skies. It's Rayquaza or Rayquaza, however you want to say it. Surging Sparks booster box case, 2,147. This is the Romance Dawn that I bought for 200 something. That one did really well, but that's the only One Piece exposure I have. But it did really well. So again, the first ever booster box. How can you go wrong with that? Mew EX 2,212. I think that was a story for this year. Yeah, more than double here. And let's see here, PSA 10, 1,414. So that's up a lot, but again, I bought it way before that. I bought it when it was like 300 Canadian, so for PSA 10. So it did really well on that. That's one of my best returns, I believe. Same with the VMAX Gengar. I bought it at 400 USD. So great returns on that. Battle Styles booster box case. Again, guys, I bought this for dirt cheap, like less than 150 per booster box. And yeah, it was just no brainer. Like the Tyranitar is actually a chase. Like I might have listened to naysayers if we didn't have that sleeping Tyranitar. But with that sleeping Tyranitar, I feel like, oh, what a deal. Again, I probably should have gotten more at that point, but I was also thinking like, yeah, it's not people's favorite. Will people want to invest in it down the line? But yeah, either way, I'm glad I pulled the trigger on the case. Giratina V, 2,746. This one has seen higher raw prices. And let's see, PSA 10, 2,187. So PSA 10 is doing well. And in part, that's because this one was hard to grade, relatively speaking, to a lot of Sword and Shield chases. So for example, just the Gengar VMAX has 13,133 in PSA 10. And the Giratina has 8,977. So quite a big difference. And obviously the Moonbreon is even crazier of a difference. Unbroken Bonds booster box. Bought all of these Unified Minds, Unbroken Bonds, Cosmic Eclipse. I bought them all for around $1,000 Canadian. So they're all done really well. Let's see here, 1,000 to almost 3,000. The Magikarp is almost at 3,000 Canadian. That's the mascot of the channel. I bought in like 500 for the PSA 10, and then it's gone in the last year from 1,909 to 2,930. Guys, look at these pop reports. There are 3,801. Do you remember the Giratina numbers? Do you remember the Gengar numbers? 3,801. And look how hard it is to grade. So that if people send in more, they're not likely to get PSA 10. So, yeah. Not a high population at all, relatively speaking, for a chase card. For a set as popular as Paldea Evolved. So Astral Radiance case here, let's see, went from, pretty much doubled. So glad I picked up the case. No, never mind. This is one case. Yeah, it gets confusing because it's like X6, but yeah, it's one case. Unified Minds, that should be also tripling, yeah. Mewtwo and Mew on the cover, right? Hard to beat that. Giratina, wow, that booster box for the Pokemon on it alone should be expensive. Paldea Evolved case, so I'm sure that did well. 1,500, more than doubled. Evolving Skies, now I'm curious to see how this did in the last year. All right, more than doubled Evolving Skies. Cool. Not at all-time highs, but pretty damn close. Maybe when we get more updates, it will be. Oh, Charmander. Let's see. This also is a crazy success story for me, but I'm not sure what it'll look like in the year chart. 1,500, yeah, all the way to 4,000 pretty much. So, yeah, big increase on that. Cosmic Eclipse broke out as like the second. I mean, it already was more expensive, right, by a fair bit. But 1,400 to 4,500, so tripled there as well. So they all those tag team sets pretty much tripled. Let's see how one that's coming up is gonna do. Umbreon VMAX back to a high price point in PSA 10. I doubt it's the high. So, but it's still up. So 4,118 a year ago. Now it's 4,720, right? Almost 20,000 in PSA 10. Compare that to the Shinji Kanda Magikarp. And let's see. Yeah, I want to see what the high PSA 10 price was, but because the BGS is kind of messing with the chart, I don't know exactly, but we're up a year. I feel like at one point it might have been higher than 5,000 though Canadian. Brilliant Stars booster box case. I'm sure that's up quite a bit. Yeah, more than double. Lost Origin, probably more than double as well. Yeah, Lost Origin kind of approaching, not quite, but kind of approaching tripling. Fusion Strike, the big winner here, approaching tripling as well. And then, of course, Team Up Booster Box, my most expensive Pokemon possession that I bought for 2,800 Canadian. According to Collector Now, again, guys, if you say that this information is not up to date with what you're looking at, blame the Collector app. Don't blame me. But let's say a year ago it was 4,200. So more than tripled. So even though it was by far the most expensive, it more than tripled while the other ones did not. They were all around the same growth, right? The tag team sets. But this one still grew more, which is interesting because it's also more expensive. So I guess the moral of the story is don't be afraid of Evolving Skies being expensive. I guess that's the moral of the story there. But now let's look at the actual growth. The number 100,000 became after a year, 226,893, which means we grew 126,893 by not only doing nothing, I even opened up sealed products, including the Costco Paladin Fates mini tins and the Evolving Skies Elite Trainer box that had a rip in it. So it would have been past 227,000, but whatever, you know. This is not bad at all. 127 pretty much percent increase in 1 year from doing nothing, from not adding anything into it. But here's the kicker that's interesting for those of you who want to know about investing. It's not at all-time highs. So it was actually at one point at 254,399. So that means the market is not, I would say, at ridiculously dangerous levels right now. I would say that we have a fair bit of growth that we can undergo before we even reach these levels. And because of that, I'm not worried about the place that the market is in right now. Like, it's not too dangerous. It fell to a low of, let's say, and even the low, quote unquote, was still more than double in a year of what it was. But now it's gone up like 20,000. But if we just reach where we were before, we're kind of going up almost 30,000. And then obviously we can reach new all-time highs. So yeah, guys, what do I take from this year of investing in Pokemon? Well, one, you could definitely make a lot of money. You could definitely outperform traditional investments. But I would say let's keep tracking it. Let's keep seeing what we do. Obviously, it would be massively successful to grow 127% and then sell. And then, obviously that's a huge success. But I don't want to just hold cash. And I have other investments. So it'll be interesting to see how this stuff keeps growing. 1 year doesn't tell you all. You can't decide if something's a good or bad investment unless you sell after 1 year. But at the same time, this is very promising. It beat my expectations, right? Honestly, if we grew 10% every year, I would be okay with it because it's a form of diversification and I like it and I have fun with Pokemon. But 126% in a year is crazy. I did not expect that. So we'll keep following this stuff. And obviously people do complain. Yeah, but how are you going to sell it? It's hard to sell. A lot of people disagree and say it's easy to sell. But the point is, as someone who has no selling experience, I'm finally going to be dipping my toes into that as well. And selling a bit this year with at vending at shows and stuff like that, including this week. So if you want to see, like I said, what I'm buying and selling, follow Ninetales Corner on Instagram. And yeah, guys, I'll see you in the next one. Like and subscribe.